This show is brought to you by Manscaped. Stay tuned at the end to hear how you can get a 20% discount and free shipping. Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Movies Looks at ... This week, I'm joined by the host of Adventures in Movies.
Hello.
Hello.
And this week, per Blake's suggestion, we will be looking at The Vast of Night. Now, the story follows a switchboard operator named Faye and a radio DJ named Everett that hear a mysterious frequency, and they're trying to discover what that's all about. A couple of disclaimers. When I say DJ, I don't mean someone who puts on an iTunes playlist and gets the party rocking. This dude's on
Damn
the
it.
ones and twos all night. And spoiler warning: we will not we will not discuss anything too heavy about this movie because there's some we can really ruin your enjoyment of this movie. But because of the nature of what we'll talk about, there might be some minor details that won't ruin the fun of the movie whatsoever. But just a mild spoiler warning there that we are going to discuss some things. So very interesting movie. Lots to talk about here. So the characters, Everett and Faye. What did you guys think of them?
I really enjoyed them. These characters were really well written. The dialogue between them was almost believable. One of the things that also reminded me of it was the way that they were acting. It seems so. I don't. This is not a knock on that on anything, but it worked. Their voices worked so well for like an audio drama. It worked for like a book. It was perfect. It was perfect. Like I can't. I don't think I've ever used that word as like to describe their acting. Like it was just a well acted movie.
Yeah, well, you bring up a couple of things. You said that natural. I think that's maybe the strongest suit of this movie. It's just a couple of people. I mean, they are the main, not only the main characters, they carry the picture. It is basically
Oh,
about these two characters, and
Yeah.
yeah, very natural. Like it's almost like you're eavesdropping in on. It takes place over the course of a night. You're just
Yeah.
spying on them for one night, essentially. Very, very well done. I like the dialogue a lot too. I thought that was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dialogue was incredibly cool, and I kind of how you said it, like, was quote unquote perfect. It's almost like too perfect. Like I love how I trust me, I love this movie. That's why I suggested it, and I just like you said, Danny, completely agree. It's like a exceptionally done radio drama, like old timey relic radio drama, fast talking. Every word comes out perfectly. They're eloquent. They're fun. They're extremely likable. Everything you said. There's a high level of honing that went on to like those sentences. The
Yeah.
the way they delivered it. Everything.
Yeah.
I did wonder how many takes some of those took because
Right.
it's rapid fire and you
It
were
is.
talking about the fast talking, so the opening moments when you're kind of getting to know the two characters, it's very rapid. And at first I was thinking like is I don't dislike the Gilmore Girls, but one of the things I don't like about it is it's how quick they talk. I find that super annoying and kind of pretentious.
Yeah.
In
I
this
feel like
case, well,
okay,
in
go.
this case, well, he's the radio DJ. The whole like, at 5 o'clock
Mhm.
here we have and she's a switchboard operator, so it makes sense that they talk like that. And then I
Yeah.
noticed when they talk to other people, they don't talk fast. So
Yeah.
Oh, he almost has a southern drawl, slow down southern
Yeah.
drawl when he
I
talks. Yeah.
love that subtlety of it. Like at first I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna. And then you kind of figure out what they do, and it's like, oh, okay, that's their job. That's why they talk like that. And then you start
I
to realize, wait, they don't talk like this
like
to
that.
anybody but
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah,
I
because they're
think
total
Yeah.
that's
nerds. They're total nerds for what
Yeah.
they do, and it makes you
absolutely.
feel that way. Yeah.
Well,
And,
I think it was Faye that says, or somebody says, like, why did you stop doing that? Like, it
radio
pointed
voice,
out
yeah.
yeah, why did you stop before you were, like, the personality was, like, brought up right away. And I thought
Well,
it
that
was,
was
like,
actually towards the end, but yeah.
was it towards the end? Well, whatever it
It
was,
was.
like, it was, like, it was already the heat of the moment. And this conversation was happening, and she like pointed out like, what are you doing with your voice? Like it's like where they already know each other so well, and we're like said, like we're dropping into their conversations. Like it's this character like acknowledgement. Hey, you're not being you, or something was just a little bit off, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, I thought it was so. So Andrew Peterson, he was the director. First feature that he's ever done. What did you guys think of the direction of the movie?
Ooh, I really liked it. So I thought everything was so like on purpose, is the best way. Is like everything was done for a specific reason. It opens with it setting you up like a Twilight Zone episode. It was like portals or whatever it is.
Yeah, Paradox
And,
Theater.
Paradox Theater, and I love the direction. I felt like the camera work specifically on a couple shots where the camera's kind of following through the streets and stuff.
Yes,
It gives you an
Yeah.
incredible sense of how small that community is.
Yes,
Like
Right.
everything is just a block away, a couple blocks away, and he did a great job of relaying that to the audience, I thought.
Right, and we come to find later or towards the end, we kind of find that the size of the community is very important to what's
Right.
happening. So that was a nice little touch. One of the things that I noticed, and I think this will be very polarizing about the movie, is I like the direction a lot also, but there's actually the entire movie is built on, I would say, 9, 10 scenes, very long scenes that are dialogue heavy, and very little quote unquote action is going on. It's just Faye, when we first find out she's a switchboard operator, it's a good 10 to 15 minutes where she's literally just in her seat behind the switchboard, and that's the entire thing that's going on. So I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool that he did that. But I can see some people thinking like, okay, I thought this was about UFOs and aliens. Like, where's the fun in this?
Well,
Sure.
I think, and that's where the audio drama to me kind of works, because
Right.
when you're hearing the stories, and it works pretty well. And this is where I think where the acting comes to play really well for the two main actors, because you have different like emotions, like they're emoting to what's happening. And again, not to give away, but that scene that you were talking about where it's like 10-15 minutes, you're just, the camera's just on Faye, and then the story's going on, and she's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel you need like this kind of stuff, like this kind of acting or kind of storytelling is what is missing a lot of the times. Where if you do want something like action heavy, like creepy, whatever, like horror-y, this is not going to give you. I think we've talked about it like with The Witch. We talked about it with like the big horror films that we've gotten in the last couple of years. It plays something like that, but I think it defines it. It tunes it so well that we're talking. Honestly, the acting is so great when we just have the dialogue, and I think that's
the dialogue, the scene transitions, everything's exceptionally smooth.
Yeah.
And it's noticeable. In relation to some of this other stuff we watched, where it's like hard cuts.
Right.
There are obviously cuts and stuff, but it was very well crafted, I would say. And it shows.
Excellent job by a first-time feature director. I mean, he's done a lot of promos for like the Oklahoma City Thunder, because I think he's from that area. But very, very good job for a first feature. What did you guys think of the atmosphere and tone? Did you guys think he did a good job of setting that up?
I do. I do. This is a love fest for me.
Well, I mean, it is. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, the setting is a small town in New Mexico in 1959. Height of like back of you think of like Roswell crash and like New Mexico being UFO ridden and stuff like that, and it pays homage to that kind of like mentality about it, but it does it in such a like. Yeah, you said the word natural. Just another really great way of doing it without it feeling like, oh, I'm watching like it's this big production,
Right. Did you ever, with a UFO movie, because it's more sci-fi than horror, of course, but were you ever scared, or did you have a feeling of tension throughout the entire movie?
It was more exciting to me. It
You
was
know,
like,
that's-
it was
I-
like
I-
it was wild ride.
there was never a sense of tension, and it was never scary, which at first it'd be like, well, what's the point in watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Super entertaining, super
Mhm.
engaging, and like
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what was going to happen next. That's all I
Yeah.
wanted. No, no scares. Like no, there wasn't like, oh my god, don't go around that corner. There was nothing like that. It was
Mhm.
just like I just wanted to see what was going to happen next.
And it was another thing you make me think about is how it keeps the mystery through
Yeah.
the entire movie. The
Mm-hmm.
entire movie, there's never like a reveal, and that's not a spoiler in any way. Like
Right.
that you get treated to a just a full on mystery, and
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty unique.
It's well, Danny, you mentioned like it's an audio book almost. It really is like
Yeah.
reading a book because
Yeah.
going into the scenes where there's quote unquote nothing happening and it's just dialogue heavy. It's really well done. Very, I thought it was a very interesting way to do a UFO story because you think of UFO movies and there's fire in the sky and even Signs, which isn't the most action.
Independence Day.
Independence Day, exactly. This is like on the far other end of the spectrum. Um, you mentioned Blake Paradox Theater. So, what did you guys think of the Twilight Zone aesthetic they had going on?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
No, it's again setting up the whole mood for the movie. You're
Mhm.
just it's just a treat. I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it without like echoing the same things that we've said already.
I know. It's funny because it's like I one of the things I like to do with Twilight Zone is kind of literally just put it on the background and listen to it.
Yeah,
And I would love to like have an audio cut of The Vast of Night just so I could listen to the whole movie. Like I would you don't need to watch it. Like you could listen to
No,
the
you
movie
don't.
and get exactly the same amount of enjoyment out of it, I think.
The beginning of Fast and Night, 'cause I was walking around doing stuff. So I actually thought because I wasn't watching the first 30 seconds, I could just hear it. I
Oh,
thought that someone was watching the Twilight Zone because the voiceover is so well. And then
yeah.
I walked in as it was going. I thought that was pretty neat. That was a good way
It
to
is.
transition between scenes.
And it
Obviously
kind of
not
gives you
just
what you're gonna get. Like
yep.
it's like okay,
does.
here's what it is. It's like all right, cool.
It was cool. Like I thought it would just kind of be the beginning thing where they're watching the TV and then it would zoom on into
So
it.
yeah,
I know. Yeah.
But then it kind of cuts.
Pleasantville.
Yeah, it was gonna go Pleasantville exactly, but no, it's kind of like the cut. It's kind of like the break between the acts type of thing. I
Hmm.
thought that
yeah,
was really neat. Something like that though can be, if overused, that can be really corny, and he does the right amount in this movie. I thought.
yeah. I really liked it because it did put the pacing just right. You knew when a new chapter, a quote unquote new chapter, was gonna start. It just everything just worked really well for this movie, and
Yeah,
this is
right.
something
Because
like
pacing could have ruined it.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
If you didn't have these kind of cuts or little intros or outros or whatever, it wouldn't. I don't think it would have worked as well
Hmm.
because you're getting introduced to the next arc story whatever. And one of the things that it reminded me of was kind of like me. I don't know if you listened to the podcast, but the Black
Oh, the
Tape
black
podcast.
tapes. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me something like that too, which was again very Twilight Zoney, very
Hmm.
X Files. So it to me, I was already okay. When you were talking about tension, I was like, I felt a little bit tension, especially again, not to spoil too much, but one of the stories kind of like creeped me out because I was like, oh fuck, and not to give again, I just looked at my child and I was like, okay, okay.
Yeah, pacing in this is that was you guys both answered a question that I was going to ask. So, what do you think about it? Because it's something we've talked about a lot, and you both said pacing is very important, and times have changed, and the that fast actiony UFO stuff. I mean, it's kind of had its day, and I think the pacing here a little slower. A throwback, a throwback to
Hmm.
way back, but
Hmm.
I thought it was paced very well. So,
Oh, this was like
uh,
warm garlic bread, dude. I just couldn't get enough of it.
It's just
Like,
like, yeah, you want it more. Honestly, I want it more. Like we ended up finishing the movie, and we're just like, well, that was great. Like
yeah, yeah. It was,
I probably just will go watch again, like on this, like after this.
final words. Final words. So, Danny, what are your final thoughts? And is this, and I think I know the answer, opening day, rental, stream, or totally ignore? And yes, you can see it on Amazon Prime, but for purposes of what we do here, what would you call this?
Actually, if you could buy this movie like through Amazon or video on demand, definite that would be opening day, right? That I would say buy like opening day. That is hands down. And fuck, it's a fun, great movie.
Oh man, you went so far.
I know.
I knew a hard F bomb was coming soon. That was awesome. Yeah,
What
I
about you?
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd pay money for it. I'd love to seen this in the theaters.
Oh,
It would have
gosh.
been a great experience. I love stuff like this in general. This was right up my alley. Like I said, this was comfort food in a lot of ways. It's a movie I can watch over and over again. I think that's important. Um, and yeah, I hope to see a whole lot more from this guy. What was his name again?
Anthony
Andrew
Peterson,
Patterson.
or is it Patterson?
Patterson.
Yeah.
But
Next
yeah,
movie he has on tap is a revenge thriller set in the beekeeping industry.
oh, apiaries, huh?
Yeah,
Wow,
there
the
you go.
dark, seedy underbelly of apiaries.
An apiary revenge story. So there you go. And I absolutely agree with you too. This is a, opening night. Go out there and get your ticket as early as possible to see this movie. It's not your traditional UFO movie unless you're about 85, 86 years old, in which case it'll be very reminiscent of your childhood. But yeah, it's great. It really goes to show how much story and characters matter, and how little big budgets mean if you have the right characters and stories. But big announcement. Whoa, not that big, but we're out here every week on YouTube. But the big announcement is you all you've had your voices heard, kinda, sorta. You've spoken, kinda, sorta. So last week we offered up some choices, and Blake with 1998's Fallen wins the Razzie. Now, somewhere down the road, we will be reviewing Fallen. If you guys have any suggestions, please put it in the comments below. We do, let's see, low budget sci-fi, documentaries, butt boys, animated, artsy fartsy stuff, and music. Tell us about the movies with music. Well,
Mostly
Please.
music. Mostly music.
indie music, 90s music, dirt music. We cover it.
I love dirt music.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a classification.
That's my favorite one. So you can check out Adventures in Movies looks at every week. Also, our podcast proper, Adventures in Movies, the quick and dirty version, you can also find here. Hey, we got a new format, so might sound a little bit different this week, but please check it out. That's all that we got, guys. Everyone have a good week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Adios, everybody.
You can actually get 20% off and you get free shipping if you use the code AIPT20 and you go to manscaped.com. They have a variety of products that can help you below the belt. And again, you get 20% off and free shipping if you go to manscaped.com and use the code AIPT20.